सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। 6th verse to 9th. सन्न्यासस्तु महाबाहो दुःखमाप्तुमयोगतः योगयुक्तो मुनिर्ब्रह्म न चिरेणाधिगच्छति योगयुक्तो विशुद्धात्मा विजितात्मा जितेन्द्रियः सर्वभूतात्मभूतात्मा कुर्वन्नपि न लिप्यते नैव किञ्चित् करोमीति युक्तो मन्येत तत्त्ववित् पश्यन् शृण्वन् स्पृशन् जिघ्रन् अश्नन् गच्छन् स्वपन् श्वसन् प्रलपन् विसृजन् गृह्णन् उन्मिषन् निमिषन्नपि इन्द्रियाणीन्द्रियार्थेषु वर्तन्त इति धारयन्। Bhagavan is telling Arjuna that if somebody is unprepared, for that person taking karma sannyasa, withdrawing completely from active world, going into a life of solitude, reflection, is very, very difficult. Because at that stage, our identity, our joys and sorrows, all of that is defined by karma. If karma is taken away, I feel I don't have an identity of my own. If karma is taken away, I say, what will give me joy? For that sadhaka, directly to get abidance in the self which is non-doer, non-enjoyer, Bhagavan says that is very difficult. Sannyasastu mahabaho dukkham aptum ayogatah. It will be sorrowful, there will be a lot of internal struggle for that. Although we might feel, oh, what is the struggle? The struggle will start when they start zooming in. There is slight echo. When they start zooming in on ahankara. When this individuality is questioned and negated in that consciousness, that is when the sadhaka will feel very insecure. Gaudapadacharya says, this insecurity is also misplaced insecurity. Abhaye bhayadarshinaha. There where we should have seen fearlessness, negating this ahankara in Atma, there he is seeing fear. Abhaye bhayadarshinaha. But he can't help it. He says, right now my mind is not prepared, unable to make that direct jump. On the other hand, if that person has done karma yoga, lived a devoted life, opened up his mind through devotion, yoga yukto munir brahma, that person is called as yoga yukta, means karma yoga yuktaha munihi, one who has meditated upon the Lord, built a relationship with the Lord, does all his actions, lived his life as a bhakta. That person is called as munihi. Muni is not only having beard, long jata, external appearance. Muni here means one who has thought about Bhagavan. Not in the way that I like, in the way that scriptures have mentioned about Bhagavan's nature and opened up his heart to Bhagavan. That Munihi na chirena adhigacchati. Very quickly he attains that supreme most abidance. Bhagavan is again reminding Arjuna, look at the glory of Karma Yoga. You start with just shifting some attitude in your everyday work, but see where it will take us. So never look down upon Karma Yoga, never look down upon the efficacy of Karma Yoga also. Then Bhagavan said, or Arjuna must have asked, two direct stations you pointed out. Yoga yukta and na chirena adhigacchati. What about in between? Does he go from Karma Yoga directly to abidance in the truth? Or is there anything that is happening in between those two stages? Bhagavan says those stages are, first Yoga Yukta becomes Vishuddhatma. 7th verse. Vishuddhatma. One whose mind has become calm, devoid of all external sense objects. That person is called as Vishuddhatma, pure mind. Then Vijitatma. What was Vijitatma referring to? Mastery over the body. Atma here doesn't mean Shuddha Chaitanya. Atma here doesn't mean mind. Vijitatma means mastery over body, means his sleep, his eating, exercise. Everything is very moderated, very, very alert lifestyle he lives. Same Karma Yogi who started doing Karma Yoga, got purity of mind, became Vijitatma, then Jitendriyaha. Very alert about what are the inputs going in and how is responding to the world outside. As alert we are with food, even more alert he is with ears, eyes, and everything else. Sometimes, out of the 5 jnanendriyas and 5 karmendriyas, only few get more importance. When it comes to jnanendriyas, we feel all our perception happens only through seeing. Whenever you say object, right, what comes to mind? Physical object. Is sound an object or not? Sound is also an object. Because sound is heard through the sense organ of ear. But because we are so conditioned to thinking about only one sense organ, we think object means always it has to be some physical form. Rupa is only one form. There is Shabda also, which is also an object. So that he is very, very careful, become Jitendriyaha, not because somebody else is telling. He himself realizes the repercussions of inadvertence in transaction. Whatever erroneous thing has entered inside, that itself will create a havoc. Either it is discussion which we should not be hearing, some ninda about somebody. Now his goal is to abide in Sarva Bhutatma Bhutatma. And the chintanam which is going on in the mind is about some vyakti. So this sadhaka has become very alert. That is his phalam, that is a result of devotion. Navada Bhakti, what was one of the devotion? Sapanehu nahi dekhahi paradosha. Athava sama jatha labha santosha. Sapanehu nahi dekhahi paradosha. Even in dream, he doesn't see faults in others. If he doesn't have to see in dream, first he has to practice in waking. In waking, whatever faults he is seeing, that he chooses to unsee, because he says that is not my goal. That is this sadhaka. Something else I remembered. Recently, when I was in India, one Balvihar teacher was sharing with me. She would be in her Balvihar class, and one girl, 5th grader, she had a tendency, whenever they are talking, Suddenly she would get up and leave the group. And it happened once, twice. The teacher was surprised. Why is she getting up and going? Parents came to pick her up and she asked, what is the matter? Why does she suddenly get up and go? He said, in our home we have no gossip rule. If anything has to be spoken about anybody else, something negative, he said, both of us will talk separately, but not in front of the child. Because it's such an impressionable age, whatever you feed, their personality will become like that. So whenever she feels in a group that something is being spoken about somebody else, she gets up and leaves. I said, this is our sadhana. This girl is doing at 5th grade. That is sadhana, that is a sadhaka, becomes very uncomfortable with ninda. Actually, this is bhakti side of it. Jnana side of it is, if there is only non-dual truth, where is there the second to do ninda of? That's an exalted state where this person says, if there is only snake or only rope, where is the scope of criticizing the snake? But before we go there, this is the transactional form of this sadhana is not having dosha drushti. Dosha drushti, one we should have is towards vishayas, sense objects. There we should see shortcomings. But we know what is our problem. That is never a concern. Our concern is paraninda. Ramcharitmanas Goswamiji says, there is no greater papa than paraninda. Papa brings dukkham. He says this ninda will bring dukkham. So whenever this person hears, mentally get up and leave. If you cannot physically get up, mentally get up. Gurudev mentions this in Narada Bhakti Sutra. If you hear somebody doing that, nod your head in any direction. And mentally don't take delight in it. Because it could happen that you are in a setting where you cannot just get up and leave. First of all, you don't be part of it. But second, if you see anybody, mentally get up and leave from there. That is Jitendriya. Every word should open up. Jitendriya only doesn't mean, what was the example? 8 4 gulab jamuns. 5th one he said no. Jitendriya is with all sense organs, in particular the way we speak. Sarva bhutatma bhutatma. This sadhaka is blessed with the divine vision. How will you split that word? Sarva bhutatma bhutatma. Sarva bhuta, atma bhuta, atma. Sarva bhuta means all insentient things, whatever doesn't express sentiency. And atma bhuta means all jivas. Jivas, not only human beings. Anything which expresses sentiency, even a grass is a jiva. That's why plucking a grass just out of fun is not good. Because it's a jiva, it is expressing sentiency there. So much so that in our Vedas, if you have to pluck a leaf for puja, there is a kshamarpana mantra for every action of that. Even a twig, if you have to bring for yajna, there is a specific mantra, it is chanted while you are plucking that thing. So that is this Atma Bhuta, and he has understood himself as Atma of Sarva Bhuta and Atma Bhuta. Means I am the self of insentient and sentient beings. This entire creation he is seeing in himself. This Sarva Bhutatma Bhutatma will keep coming in several places. Ishavasya Upanishad also it will come. And I'm also very happy that many of you do mananam after this and come up with your own examples. That is how it should be. After last class, one sadhaka came and told me, Sarva Bhutatma Bhutatma comes in Srimad Bhagavatam also. right in the beginning, when Shukdevji Maharaj is born, and he just walks away after he is born, doesn't even stay back, doesn't even look back. So much vairagya he had right from birth. Vedvyasji is lamenting and is asking all trees, asking all beings around. And on behalf of Shukdevji Maharaj, all the trees are responding that this is a great evolved soul, don't hold him back anymore. And that the adjective given to Shukdevji Maharaj is Sarva Bhutatma Bhutatma. One who was the self of all beings. Just like if you ask individual person a question, person will respond. Because I have Atma Buddhi in this Deha. Like that, for Shukdevji Maharaj, whole creation responds because he has Atma Buddhi in entire creation. Any part of creation can respond. Very precise example for Sarva Bhutatma Bhutatma. One who is the self of this whole creation. Kurvan api na lipyate. In spite of doing, he is not bound. What all things does he do? Next two verses. Pashyan, Shunvan, Sprushan, Jighran. All of them were Jnanendriyas. Pashyan is seeing, Shunvan is hearing, Sprushan is touching, Jighran is smelling. Ashnan is eating. Swapan, Shwasan. Swapan, Shwasan, sleeping, breathing. Sleeping is, you can put it as activity of the mind. Mind. Shwasan is pranas. Pralapan, Visurjan, Grunhan. Talking, Visarjanam, excretion. Grunhan, grasping. All of them are karmendriyas, organs of actions, by which we respond in this world, organ of action. Then unmishan, nimishan is there, right? Unmishan means opening the eyes, nimishan means closing the eyelids. He says unmishan, nimishan is the role of upapranas. Vedanta Sara, all this was discussed. Naga and Kurma, two upapranas are there, which are responsible for blinking of eyelids. Naga, Kurma, Krikala, Devadatta, Dhananjaya. All five upapranas. If you have attended the Vedanta course, these are like very, very simple. Always it will be ringing in your bell. Because we have sadhakas here who are not attended one, not attended two, but 4 to 5 Vedanta courses. Pralapan, Visujan, Grunhan, Unmishan, Nimishan, Napi, Indriyani, Indriyartheshu. What is this idea? Sense organs are interacting with sense objects. Indriyani, Indriyartheshu, Vartante iti dharayan. Keeping this in mind, what does he say? Naiva kinchit karomiti. I am not doing anything. It is the sense organs interacting with sense objects. Yukto manyeta tattvavita. That person is called tattvavit. Now somebody says, Bhagwan, this is too high for me. All sense organs interacting with sense objects, looking at seeing as an action. I am the seer illumining this action of seeing. Too high for me. Although you said such a person is not bound by karma, not affected by karma. Is there something practical that I can hold on to, yet get the same result? I don't want to get bound by karma, but tell me something that I can understand. Arjuna must have asked. Bhagavan says, yes, there is a technique here. Same karma yoga presented in different flavor. Okay, next 3 verses are again in elaboration of glory of karma yoga. Brahmanyadhaya karmani sangam tyaktva karoti yah lipyate na sapapena पद्मपत्रमिवाम्भसा ब्रह्मण्याधाय कर्माणि संगं त्यक्त्वा करोति यः लिप्यते न स पापेन padmapatramivaambhasa. Arjuna, the simple technique is, first of all, find an Ishtadevata, some form of God which you can personally connect with, personally feel closeness with. Don't say only God. Say my Bhagwan Krishna, my Bhagwan Shiva, my Bhagwan Rama. Don't even say Bhagwan Rama. Bhagwan Rama was a great person. But what is your sambandha with Bhagwan Rama? He says build that connection, build sambandha with one form of the Lord. Brahmani adhaya karmani. That Bhagwan whom you are worshipping or you have connected with, live your whole life offering your actions to that Bhagwan. Now here we should again appreciate, notice, if we don't have connection with somebody, it will never happen that we are offering our emotions to that person. Only when that sambandha is there, that is when this offering of karmas will happen. So Brahman here means Ishvare. Bhagavan, not Nirguna Brahma here. Brahma means Saguna Brahma, my Bhagavan whom I worship. I live my life as his dasa. At every point, I will make sure that whatever things I am doing in my life is going to please my Bhagavan. No action should be such, no thought should be such, no speech should be such that it is going to displease my Bhagavan. That sensitivity is called as bhakti. If our vasanas are strong, voice of God is drowned. Not that it is not there inside, Bhagwan is seated in everyone's heart. But if my mind's chatter is loud, whatever is the voice of God in the form of values. Now we don't have to make it very mystic. Voice of God means suddenly it comes from inside and it secretly tells you something. See, whenever we have helped somebody, what is the emotion that comes to mind right after helping? Peace, joy, contentment. That contentment is voice of Bhagwan. Helping somebody without expecting anything return, that contentment is voice of Bhagwan. Put it other way, if we have lied to somebody, even without anybody else saying something, there will be some agitation inside, some feeling of guilt inside. That guilt is displeasure of the Lord. Antaryami Bhagwan, becoming sensitive to these two things is bhakti. That is the meaning of this phrase, Brahmani adhaya karmani. And we know Bhagwan will never be pleased with any kind of adharmic things. Untruth is just one of it. You take any other adharmic vritti, anger, jealousy. We don't even have to ask anybody else. If those things are there inside, displeasure of the Lord becomes very evident to that devotee. Brahmani adhaya karmani does work in this way to please Bhagwan. At the same time, sangam tyaktva karoti. Sangam tyaktva. Sangam means attachment. Towards what? Towards the karma and also towards Karmaphala. Sangam Tyaktva means that, towards the action itself he is not attached, and not attached towards result of action. See, Sangam Tyaktva word, we have to appreciate and understand very deeply. If you literally translate it, what will it be? Letting go of fruits of results. See, how can you let go of fruit of result literally? Literally, if you want to let go of fruit of result, a result of the action that we have done, you see, we cannot let go of Karmaphala like that, no matter what we do. For example, if you park in the wrong place, they said $400 fine and you parked. Then the cop comes and gives you a ticket. Then what you say? I want to do tyaga of this Karmaphala. He said, no, once karma is done, Karmaphala will come no matter what. Whether you like it or not, it will come. Then what does Sangam Tyaktva mean? What type of result will come? In that I don't have any insistence. Sangam Tyaktva is another name of acceptance of Karmaphala. Otherwise, literally, that word will never appeal to us, never make sense also. You worked so hard to plant a tree, 15 years you took care. Now finally the fruit has come. And what do you say? Sangam Tyaktva. He says, no, fruit will come, but whether it is sour or sweet, I will accept both of it. Like that, we have done so many actions. Right now also we are doing so many projects, so many actions. Sangam Tyaktva in those actions is, Bhagwan, whatever you give, I will happily accept as prasada. Non-insistence on a particular karmaphala is this Sangam Tyaktva. Another side of Sangam Tyaktva is not getting over anxious about the result. We are doing an action right now, result will come in the future. But getting so anxious about how it is going to come. You see, that is indication of Sangha. But if somebody can be not overly concerned about that aspect, then the sadhaka is called as Karma Yogi. How did he arrive at this point? Through devotion. He says, right now, whatever work Bhagwan has given, that itself is giving so much joy. Why should I worry about what is the result of this action? For example, taking care of parents. That is one of our duty as children. Now, what is Sangam Tyaktva in that karma? He says, right now I am taking care. That itself is giving a lot of joy. Why should I worry about what this particular action is going to give me in the future? Somebody might say it will give a lot of punya. I say, so what? Even if it doesn't give punya, this person says, I will still do it. That sadhaka is Sangam Tyaktva. Puja Guruji gives an example. He says, what becomes an obstacle in our thinking in this way? He says, sometimes if you get a wound and you put a band-aid on top of it, sometimes every 10 minutes we open and see, has it healed? He says, if you do like that, it will never heal. So this sadhaka also, once he does an action, immediately his mind goes and thinks about the future. Oh, will this happen? This particular result, will it come? So that constant opening and closing will really not help us. That is the sadhaka who is Sangam Tyaktva. Not too concerned about the future, sitting happily wherever he is. In olden days, when there were no GPS and phones, you would see people taking a map, even in a train. not in a car, huh? In a train, because they're anxious about what is the next station which is going to come. And public service announcement also they will give. Okay, this station has come, now the next station will come. On the other hand, there are some people, very happily they will sit, open their thepla, khakra, whatever they have brought, nicely eat, take a nap, and say whenever it has to come, it will come. Why get anxious about which is the next station, what is the one after that? You see, sometimes our karma becomes like that. Whichever project we started, at every step we start thinking, will the result be this particular way? Two meanings we saw, Sangam Tyaktva. What was the first meaning? No insistence upon a particular result. Sangam Tyaktva doesn't mean being unconcerned or saying no to something. You see, we cannot say no. Karmaphala, if it comes, it doesn't even ask us. Headache is a Karmaphala, okay? Before it comes, does it ask us, today is Sunday, can I come? He says, no, it will come balat, in such a way that nobody can say no. But acceptance of that Karmaphala is the first meaning of Sangam Tyaktva. And what was the second meaning? Not over-analyzing or getting too anxious about the future. That itself is Sangam Tyaktva. And how will one get this? Devotion to Bhagwan. Right now he says, Bhagwan, I am getting lot of joy as long as you are pleased with my current karma. So we should not have this question, how does Karma Yogi get motivation? If at all we have that question, answer is here. His motivation comes by doing everything perfectly, but in a way that it pleases the Lord. Otherwise, perfectionist can swing to the other extreme. Guru again had defined this. He said, he had read somewhere else, perfectionist is the one who is himself unhappy and keeps everybody around him unhappy. He said, don't keep it here, keep it there, don't keep it here. He says, Sangam Tyaktva is both aspects of it. Does it in a way that Bhagwan is happy, but at the same time, no insistence. What is the result he got from this? Lipyate nasa papena. He is not tainted by the lepa, the layer of karma. Lipyate nasa papena. The bondage of karma doesn't hold on to him. Means he has a beautiful mind, he has a free mind. Bondage of karma is not outside. Nobody is going to, put something on our hands and make us feel that we are bound. Bondage of karma is, our mind is preoccupied by that karma. That is removed from him. Lipyate nasa papena. As though he gets a layer between himself and the Karmaphala. Layer? Bhagwan, can you give an example? Of course. Padma patram ivambhasa. Just like there is a layer between the leaf and the droplet of water on top of it. For this devotee, there is a layer between himself and Karmaphala. Means between himself and the work that he is doing, there is a safe barrier inside. Nobody can enter into his peace. This is a Karma Yogi. We are not talking about Jnani yet. This sadhaka, verse number 10, is a Karma Yogi. Because remember Arjuna's question, he said, 8th and 9th verse was very high for me. He says, I cannot directly own up that idea. Can you tell me some in-between solution? Bhagwan says, this is the solution. Find an Ishtadevata first. Don't just use the word Bhagwan. Don't just say all-pervading Lord. Devotion doesn't come with such adjectives. First, get a particular form of the Lord. Build a connection, whatever it takes to do that. Do some chanting, do some prayers. All of that is connection with Bhagwan. Then throughout the day, live with this bhavana that my work I'm doing for that Bhagwan whom I worshipped in the morning. Directly, if you jump to Karma Yoga and say that I am offering my karmas to Bhagwan, you say we'll just be running here and there. Sambandha will never be formed. Relation will never be formed with the Lord. If that happens, he says, Padma Patram Ivambhasa. No matter how much of shower comes on that lotus leaf, leaf is unaffected by that water. No matter how many karmaphalas come to this jiva, that person is unaffected by those karmaphalas. Lipyate nasa papena padma patram ivambhasa. Ambhasa means water. Padma patra means lotus leaf. One simple sadhana to practice this verse is to do a sankalpa before every work. Sankalpa is what? Doesn't have to be in Sanskrit, okay? It can be in whichever is our regional language. Saying that, Bhagwan, this work I am doing to please you. The one who has given me this work is you. One who will accomplish this work is also you. This is the bhavana of every sankalpa. Huh? When we do sankalpa for puja also, that is what we say. Shri Guru Charanaravindayoho Achanchala Druda Bhakti Siddhyartham. May we get that firm conviction and faith at the lotus feet of our teacher. That is why I am doing this. Like that for every task, secular tasks. Early morning, he said that is our sankalpa. For every form of art, Mangala Charanam, the invocation is done for the same purpose. We say if we miss the purpose, then that same form of art can become a bondage. I think I had shared this example about Nandi. Do you remember or no? In Marathi, Natak, drama when they do an invocation called as Nandi. Sometimes it is to Lord Ganesha, sometimes other deities. So one Nandi, what it says is, Bhagwan, I am doing this Natak, this drama, I am one of the artists, which is very good. But may my mind never go away from you. If it goes only on the audience, even if they stand up and clap, still I will remain a lot of hollow from within. Even if they stand and clap, he says, still I will remain hollow from within. Ishvaracha lesha mile jari, mooda yatna shevati jato. Even if you get lot of name and fame, without this devotion to the Lord, that same name and fame will become a bondage. It will take us in vain. So every form of art, the divine form of doing that art is through this bhavana. Brahmani adhaya karmani, I am doing this art form to please the Lord. If others benefit, well and good. If they don't, nothing to lose. And it is said, such kind of mindset brings out the best in that artist. All of you have heard the story of Tansen and his guru. Akbar goes and tells Tansen, you are such a beautiful singer, Navaratna you are. Is there somebody who is greater than you? He says, my guru is there. What was his name? Haridas ji. He says, Haridas ji is my guru, he is the greatest. Akbar goes in disguise. First of all, he tells him, bring him to my court. He says, he will not come to your court. You have to go, and if you go as a king, he might not even sing. So this Tansen, he takes Akbar in disguise. Haridas ji is sitting in his own peace. He asks Tansen to sing, and Tansen purposely misses some swara. And he says, what Tansen, I taught you so much. Now also you are doing such mistakes. Then he takes the Tanpura and starts singing. And that piece was so divine. Akbar says, Tansen, I thought you were the greatest singer. How come your teacher sings greater than you? Tansen said, Maharaj, I sing to please you, my teacher sings to please God. That is the difference. Brahmani adhaya karmani. Upanishad Ganga, there is an episode on Tansen. And it is said, Haridashi recognizes Akbar. First of all, he praises him. He says, Akbar, you had tears in your eyes when you heard my raga. That shows how much of interest you have for music. So all this will very nicely blossom in this kingdom. Music will blossom under your guidance. But Akbar says, how did you know that I am a king? In Hindi it is said, आपको झुकने की आदत नहीं है. Being a king, you don't have the practice of bowing down. You wore the attire of a ordinary person, but when you came, you were standing like this. You say, I knew you must be somebody from that. Brahmani adhaya karmani sangam tyaktva karoti yaha. Now somebody is asking Bhagwan, Arjuna only, who else is there? He said, Bhagwan, lipyate nasa papena, you said, right, in the previous verse. He is not tainted by karma. How come he is not tainted by karma? Can you elaborate a little more? Even in karma yoga, how can that person be not tainted by karma? Next verse is elaboration of that. Kayena manasa buddhya Kevalairindriyairapi Yoginah karma kurvanti Sangam tyaktva atmashuddhaye Kayena manasa buddhya Kevalairindriyairapi Yoginah karma kurvanti Tyaktva atmashuddhaye. Key word here is Yoginah karma kurvanti. Second line, first quarter. Bhagavad Gita is not talking about a solution where you run away somewhere and then start feeling you have perfected yourself. Whatever difficulties we might be going through, we say, right now let me go away from these things, then I might be accomplished. Bhagavan says, no, yoginah karma kurvanti. Karma yogis are very much engaged in action. What is their motivation for action? Atmashuddhaye karma kurvanti. Last word there is Atmashuddhaye. Sangam tyaktva atmashuddhaye, right? So Atmashuddhaye is the last word. For the sake of purity of mind, they are doing all their duties. What is the mindset? Sangam tyaktva. Sangam tyaktva, previous shloka. Same thing is getting carried here. Sangam tyaktva. No insistence and no over anxiety, anxiousness about future result. What is their motivation? Atmashuddhaye. That Bhagwan, this mind of mine has lot of impurities. If I want to offer anything to you, Bhagwan says, offer that thing which I have. Means as a jiva, this sadhaka has, and Bhagwan doesn't have. That is what we can offer, right? So he says, whatever limitations are there, that you offer. If I can give up anger in and through my work, he says, that is my Atmashuddhi. If I can give up pride, jealousy, in and through that seva, he says, that is my Atmashuddhi. For this sake alone, a devotee does actions. Think about it this way. Every action that we do has results coming at two levels. Every action has results coming at two levels. One is external, that is one level. Second is internal. For example, somebody asks you to arrange the chairs in this room. You came in the morning, everything was on this side. 10 people are here. Arrange the chair in this room. What is the external result of this particular action? Arranging it in a particular order. Doing it very well, that is one result. This is a simple example. If you take any action, you can apply the same analogy. Doing that action very well, placing it neatly, one straight row, all of that is external result. But along with that, there is an internal result also. How did you feel after doing that work? How did you do that work along with everybody else? Did we recognize the strength of each other? Did we recognize our own strength, blend into it, then get the work done? While doing that work, did we remember Bhagavan? Although in Tattva Bodha I studied entire creation is Bhagavan, chair is also God, floor is also God. Just now I saw I should have an Ishta Devata also. Did that Ishta Devata's name come to my mind? And how did I feel after that work was completed? If I felt calmer, more peaceful, more accepting about everybody, that is internal result what this work has given. This is true with every single work that we do. Parenting is also one seva. One is external result, another is internal result. The job that we do, doing it very well is external result. How did I feel after doing that work? That is internal result. This Karma Yogi, he says, Bhagavan, in the pursuit of external result, may I not lose sight of internal result. How to do the external result well, world will teach. That's why I said chair was a simple example. You take any other work, how to do it diligently, Vedanta will not tell us. Diligence in the work will come from whatever things we learn from the world. But how to get internal result in such a way that we evolve in and through that work. That is the message of Karma Yoga. And sometimes what can happen is our attention can be only on the external. Whereas on the spiritual path, external doesn't matter at all. Not to say we should do it half-heartedly, but only external focus. Spiritual path will say it has not served its purpose. Both should be there, external and internal. We are trying to open up the word Atmashuddhaye. Sangam Tyaktva Atmashuddhaye. What is Atmashuddhi? Whatever limitations are there in me, that should get washed away in and through that duty. Sangam Tyaktva again goes back with the same previous ideology. If I have connected with Bhagavan, then every work should be done for his pleasure, for his sake. It is just like, let us say there is somebody who has helped us in the time of need. We were going through a difficult time. Some well-wisher was there who helped. Now what will be our sambandha with that well-wisher? Close sambandha will be there. Atmiya sambandha will be there. Now let us say at some point, this person who had helped, he has a guest coming to your town. And he tells you, my guest is coming, please take care. Now what will be our sambandha with that guest? I say it will be Atmiya sambandha only. Because the guest is the friend of the one whom I revere, I am connected with. Whatever I do for this person, will be keeping in mind that friend of mine should be pleased. Like that, this sadhaka has sambandha with Bhagwan. He is our well-wisher. And whatever other things he has given us are people, situations sent by the same Bhagwan. And there he says, may I do things in such a way that Bhagwan should be pleased with me. That is this sadhaka. Then come to the first line. How does he do actions? Through what instruments? Kayena. Kayena means physical body. Manasa, with intellect, with mind. Manasa you can take as mind. Buddhya means intellect. Important thing here is, karma yogi or a devotee is not a dullard. Gurudev would say this. People sometimes feel that bhakta means somebody who doesn't know anything about vyavahara. Vyavahara shunya he is, doesn't know how this world runs. Hum to bhagat hai. That would be their line. So why are you doing things so in a messy way? So hum to bhagat hai. We are devotees. So that is not the insignia of devotion. 12th chapter Bhagavan says, Anapeksha Shuchir Daksha. He is anapeksha, doesn't have too much of insistence, but very, very diligent. Daksha he is. So, Kayena Manasa Buddhya, Kevalai Shabda you leave apart, Indriyahi api, through sense organs. He is doing karma. How many things are given? 4 things. Through body, through mind, through intellect, through sense organs, he is doing karma. How is he doing karma? Kevalaihi. Kevalaihi means without this insistence that I am doing this thing. Mamatva varjitaha. Without lot of attachment, without possessiveness, he is doing karma. That is what is the word kevalaihi. In fact, that is the only word which will make all the difference. Jnani or karma yogi and karmi. Jnani you leave apart. One who is doing karma yoga and one who is only doing karma. Both of them are using kaya or not? Both look very active. Mind also they are using. Intellect also is used to plan so many things. Sense organs are used. But in case of karma yogi it is kevalaihi kayena. Kevalaihi manasa. Means without eye and mind he is doing karma. Whereas the karmi doing the same karma with lot of eye and mind. Yoginaha karma kurvanti sangam tyaktva Atmashuddhaye. This particular verse, the main idea here is how karma yogi is not bound by karma. How lepa of karma doesn't take place for a karma yogi. He said his motivation is Atmashuddhi. For purity of one's own mind, he is doing karma. Here also you might get a question. How do I know whether I am doing karma for my purity of mind or to satisfy my ego? Because it's a very subtle switch. Externally it might seem, oh, I am doing such a nice thing. But internally, this ego is getting more and more satisfied. So Mahatmas, they have reflected on this point. What is the litmus test for knowing whether my karma is for Atmashuddhi or AhankaraVruddhi? Atmashuddhi is purity of mind. AhankaraVruddhi is bloating of the ego. First one is, when I finish that work, does it leave me with a deep sense of fulfillment? If the answer is yes, then that karma was done for Atmashuddhi. When I finish that work, I should ask myself, do I feel a deep sense of fulfillment, irrespective of how that work turned out to be. There is no person in this world whose all projects have been successful. No Mahatma also, for that matter. But if you ask them, what is your inner condition after doing that work? Deep sense of fulfillment. Hanumanji going to find Sita ji. While going, he tells everybody, I am getting a sense that I will find Sita ji today because there is some fulfillment inside. Then he goes, finishes the work, comes back. Again he says, whatever I did is secondary, but my heart is content with whatever Bhagwan gave me an opportunity to do. So that the sadhaka has to ask, do I feel deep sense of contentment? Second one is, we should ask, after doing this work, have my vasanas deepened or have they thinned down? Have my previous vasanas, strong desires, have they deepened or have they thinned down after doing this work? If answer is yes, then that work was done for Atmashuddhi. If answer is no, then somewhere in between I lost track. This will happen even for good work. We might go to help somebody, we might go out of the way to do some social work. But after doing that work, we will realize what vasanas I had before that have multiplied after doing this. More mananam all of you have to do on your own. I am just giving hints. Everything you cannot discuss in class, okay? Some part we have to reflect on our own. Even in good work, if we are not alert, it can happen that our vasanas are getting more and more stronger. We are becoming more dependent on the world, on people, versus becoming more independent. Again, Sundarkanda, Hanumanji goes to Lanka. Lanka was known as Bhoganagari. That is why Angadji didn't want to go there. I can go, he said. I don't know if I can come back. Sense objects, if they are there in front, you never know when it will pull us. But Hanumanji says, or Hanumanji, when he goes and he comes back, nothing of Lanka comes back with him. No matter which bhogas were there, comes back unharmed. That is a devotee, one who has done the work for Prabhu Preeti, pleasing the Lord, which naturally will bring Atmashuddhi. See, Prabhu Preeti and Atmashuddhi, they are not two different pursuits. What was the first one? Indicator of this? Does it give me deep sense of fulfillment after doing that work? Second is, have my vasanas deepened after doing that work? If yes, then it is not Atmashuddhaye. If no, then it is Atmashuddhaye. Third one is, can I drop that work easily? If I have started something, the greatest indicator of purity in that work is, how easily can I drop if my teacher or whoever has given me that work, that person tells me to drop. See, that is the beauty of taking work under the guidance of somebody. If we ourselves take up some work, we can never drop it. So we should never deprive ourselves of the privilege of being watched over. Whoever that person is in our life, under whom we have Shraddha, on whom we have Shraddha, on whom we have faith, and if that Shraddheya gives you something and takes it back also, he says, so be it, I can give it up right away. If it comes in Bhagwan, nothing like it. So Bhagwan has given me this work. At some point he will say, now this is over, you can do something else. Happily this person says, my role is done. third indicator, how quickly I can drop it. And the last one is, do I get happy when I am praised, or internally do I get uncomfortable when I am praised? That is another indicator of Atmashuddhi. If a sadhaka feels very happy if somebody praises, that means it is not Atmashuddhi, it is AhankaraVruddhi. But internally, if that sadhaka feels uncomfortable, he says, Bhagwan, you had given me this work, you accomplished it, and praise I am getting. He says that uncomfortable feeling is another sign of purity of mind. All these pointers are from Sundarkanda, if you didn't notice until now. When Bhagwan praises Hanumanji, Hanumanji says, Bhagwan, please don't trap me again. This ahankara is something, traps us in several ways. This work was given by you, accomplished by you. I have nothing to do with it. Okay. Sangam tyaktva Atmashuddhaye. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.